So in this video we're going to look at a couple other reasons why sound may play. The first we're going to look at is a collision. So at the end of the last video we had the player jumping, now we need the player to land. So a couple things we've got to put in place first. There was no gravity being applied, so we need to change gravity scale to 1 for the bodyguard. And then we need to add a polygon collider. Next we're going to take an image, put it into the scene, put it under them vertically, and also add in this case a box collider 2D. So now collisions can occur. Now what we're going to do is, up to this point we've taken an object and we've attached a single sound to it. You can actually have multiple sounds be associated with a single object. So let's go to the script for the bodyguard, and in the area where you declare variables, let's put in 2 new ones. So public audio clip, and we have landing SND, landing sound, and now we're going to add public audio clip jumping sound. So up to this point the jumping sound has already been attached directly as a component. Now we want a variable so that we can toggle between them. So let's go ahead and save that, and you'll see the change here. So you just drag and drop the sound assets. So landing will be for landing, jumping will be for jumping. Now, again in the code, the script for the bodyguard, we need to add a new routine outside of start, outside of update. So void on collision enter 2D collision collision 2D other. This is a predefined routine, so you need to make sure you get this exactly right. It's case sensitive, capital O, capital C, capital E, capital D, collision 2D other. So this is saying when a collision occurs for the object that the script is attached to, and it's attached to the bodyguard, when a collision occurs, do something. So what we're going to do is we're going to check first what is the name of that other that it's colliding with. So if other.gameObject.name double equals sign grass, because that's the name of the object. So if it's colliding with the grass object, what do we want to do? Get component audio source.clip is going to be set to landing sound. That's what we did up here, and then go ahead and play that sound. So what we have to do is we have to modify the jump, because up here we just had play audio source. So now we're going to get rid of this. Well, actually we can keep that. We're just going to add a line before it, now that I think about it, because this is identical to this. We just have to set this first. And as we said, we now have a jumping variable. Go ahead and save that. And I think in between videos I bumped that up to 7. It was a 3 originally, so they jump further. So what should happen now is when they jump, this should not change as far as functionality. We only have to do this because of this, now that we have more than one sound. So let's go ahead and run it and see if this works. So, and if you heard already there was a click, it's because she was actually slightly above the ground to begin with. So let's have her jump. Perfect. So you hear the jump and then the land. To avoid that extra landing sound at the very beginning, there's a few things you can do. You can put in a little extra code that ignores this, because this is saying, okay, a collision has occurred, what do you want to do? Well, you could put something in here that says, well, if a collision occurs at the, within half a second, don't do anything with it, just ignore it. But this is just meant to show the basics as far as the fact that an object can actually access more than one sound. So up to this point, we've been putting a sound onto an object when in fact you could store many sounds. So maybe when they do different attacks, they scream or yell or whatever, and you would have those different sounds depending on the attacks. So that is the first of the two things that I wanted to explore. That is a sound based on impact. Now we want a sound based on time. So to do that, we need an object that's going to track how much time has passed. So let's go ahead and click on Game Object, Create Empty, and let's just call that GM. Now let's take that GM object and we're going to put the alarm alert audio clip onto it. We're going to uncheck Play on Awake, and now we're going to create a script. So create C#, and we'll call this time control. So click on the GM object, drag and drop time control onto it. Open it up, and we're going to create two variables at the top. One to track time, so public float total time. Well, total time remain, because it's how much we said it's going to be, like in an old school side scroller, where the last minute or the last 30 seconds you get an alert. So this is telling you how much time is left. And again, you don't have to have a very descriptive name. It's just meant to let you know what it's being used for. So total time remain, and we'll start it at 10. Now because it's going to be decreased by seconds, effectively it works like seconds. In other words, this is just a float. It's just the number 10. It doesn't mean seconds to the system, but since we're going to actually decrease it by an amount that is equal to one unit per second, effectively it's going to measure seconds. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a second variable. So public string is alert on. So is it playing? You want to start as no. Because if you don't do this, it's going to keep trying to play the sound over and over and over again. So in the update section, what we now do is we now say total time remaining minus equals time dot delta time. So time dot delta time means how much time has passed. And since this gets run once per frame, how much time has passed since the last frame. So total time remaining minus equals time dot delta time. So it decreases this. Now you have to decide, when do you want to start hearing the alarm? Well, let's start hearing it at 5 seconds. So if total time remain is less than 5, and double ampersand is alert on double equal sign is equal to no. Because what's going to happen is in the next line we're going to change no to yes, and the reason for that is because you only want the alert to start playing once. You don't want it to start playing over and over again. So alert is set to no. So now we're going to say, so is alert on, it gets set to yes or to Y. And now get component audio source dot play. Okay, so play the current audio source, and right now that one clip is assigned. We haven't assigned multiple like we did for the other object. So that should do it. And just to be certain, what we'll do is we'll do debug.log, and we'll just put in total time remaining. So that will show up down here in the lower left corner. Don't mind this alert, this has to do with one of the other projects. But down here when it's running, you'll see it's going to be counting down, and when it gets down to 5 is when you're going to hear the alert start running. There we go. So now you have a sound playing based on time. So that should about do it for this video. If there's anything else you want to see, just let me know. But that covers the major ones: sounds based on collision, sound based on time, sound based on proximity, sound based on instantiation. That really covers all the major ones. But again, if there's something else you want to see, just let me know.